All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. Man, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Let's go.
All right. Hello and welcome in to Swing It and Ding It. You guys hear me okay? All right. Beautiful.
Gotcha.
Just making sure we got it. I didn't have my little volume on there, but we tout ourselves, Danielle, as the Philly golf show, right? And we talk about that all the time. So we had to start off this time of year, this season, with the greatest golf association in the world, the Golf Association of Philadelphia. Our friend Marty Emeno, Director of Operations from the GAP. Marty, welcome to Swing It and Ding It.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for the kind words and very accurate. We'll take it.
That's right. That's right. Philly golf, it was in the news today, right? Brian Rollup's talking in the press conference, and he brings up, going to the major cities, Philadelphia needing to be a part of it. We saw it last year with the Truist. But, on the amateur side and what we have here in Philly, the courses, the level of competition, we know how special it is, and we're going to get into all that. But let's start with you, right? Let's talk about your role, how you got into it, kind of your golf journey, a little bit of your history so that people know who's talking to them.
Yeah, well, I'm officially old now, unfortunately. So believe it or not, this is year 26 at GAP for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congrats.
pretty crazy. Yeah, thank you. I'm still the first and only communications director, so I'm trying to hang on to that title as long as humanly possible. But was a newspaper guy, saw an job opening for a communications director at GAP. And just as things would have it, when I was in the newspaper world, I wrote stories about Michael McDermott and about Billy Stewart and Vince Cavello, just kind of as they were the guys back around 1999. Applied for the job, was fortunate enough to get hired and kind of have expanded from there. I think when I started with GAP, we had something like 68 or 86, somewhere in that range clubs. And now we're at 345.
Wow.
Wow. We had like 80,000 members and now we're at 140,000. So we've grown leaps and bounds for sure. Did not plan on joining the golf business. Just kind of happened that way. I was a journalism kind of guy. But GAP is awesome with the history. I've written enough stories about Brandon, Danielle can tell you that. And just seeing all those kind of great guys through the years, it's really impossible to leave. Really, there's three of us on staff who have been there for 26 years or more, and two others who have been on staff for 18 years or more.
Wow.
So it's that just tells you a lot about the association. Yeah, it just tells you about the association, about what we do and how we care, and that nobody really wants to give that up or go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I love it. GAP has, for me, it was almost like my first introduction to golf, obviously through Brandon. But I remember Chris Roselle gave me this hat, and he saw it's a yellow hat with this kind of old school logo on it. And I remember him seeing me a couple years later, and he's like, I got to get you a new hat. Like, we updated our logo. And I was like, no, that's why I like it so much. Like, I have this and I still have it. The hat's probably like 15 years old, but it's just incredible. And I told you guys before we got live on air, I told Brandon, I was like, hey, we got Marty as a guest, and he just started going, okay, you got to ask him A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I was like, wait, maybe I should get him on to ask him a few questions. But one of the things that he brought up was how great GAP was and how cool of an initiative they did where members get access with member play days. And he's like, there's a lot of, opportunity for people to get on a course they wouldn't normally have that opportunity to play. So my question for you would be, what member play day do you think that members should be circling on their calendar each year?
Yeah, so the one that gets circled a lot by everybody is the Ridge at Backbrook. They are an annual visitor to the member play day schedule. They actually do 2 every year, and they sell out within the first 4 minutes. Unfortunately. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. The first year, nobody knew what the demand was going to be, and it literally broke the website. The website was down. So, the Ridge is always a very popular one. We go to some places like Huntington Valley, Commonwealth, White Marsh Valley, those kind of courses. But honestly, the member play day roster, if you just go to the website at gapgolf.org, click under member play days, they're all there. There's about 30 a year that we do. And some courses are awesome. Some courses you might not know. Some courses you might not like. But the opportunity is there for you to get an opportunity to go be a guest at a club for a day and just experience it. It's been a great initiative, and I can tell you a funny story. We were at a conference. We have this thing called IAGA, which is the International Association of Golf Administrator Conference. And we heard that idea from a group, I believe they were Washington or the Pacific Northwest. So we stole the idea in a sense, and we brought it back east, and we did it the first year, and they were a failure.
Wow.
Like, had very little participation, not that many people played. So we had, in our year-end meeting, we're like, hey, what do we do for next year? Do we think about getting rid of those member play days? And we're like, let's just give it a couple years to see where we go. And now it's like one of the greatest benefits you have for being a GAP member. They're crazy popular. We have like 95%, sellout rate. So, good idea. Didn't start great, but now it's turned out to be one of the great perks of being a GAP member.
With some of them selling out in 4 minutes.
Yeah, with some of them selling out in 4 minutes. I think the first we put 4 on the block to start the year already, and 3 of them are sold out, and 1 only has like a handful of spots.
Incredible.
I love it. Well, I want to get into the BMW GAP Team Matches, but real quick, because it dawned on me last week. We have a new guy that started at work, younger guys into golf, not a member of a club, and he said, "Have you ever heard of GAP?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." For people that we're in it, right? We're members. What? Just tell people that might be listening, what exactly the Golf Association of Philadelphia does. What are the benefits? What are kind of your mission and what you guys do every day?
Yeah, elevator pitch stuff.
Yeah.
So the GAP used to be the Golf Association of Philadelphia, and technically still is, but we refer to it as the GAP. Was established in 1897 on February 5th, 1897, downtown Philadelphia. 7 members of 4 of the 4 original clubs. So Philadelphia Cricket, Philadelphia Country Club, Marion Cricket Club at the time, and Belmont Golf Association, which is now Aronimink, had a meeting, got together, and formed the GAP. GAP is the oldest state or regional golf association in the country. Our friends up in New York City try to steal that thunder a little bit. That is not true, and we have the proof that we were the first ones crowned the that.
We almost fought James Nicholas a couple weeks ago. It got very contentious, but
but we are the amateur body of golf in the Philadelphia region, and our region extends all the way out to State College, up and down in Pennsylvania, so all the way east, basically half of New Jersey and down, and the entire state of Delaware. We run programming for all players of all skill levels, from guys like Danielle's husband, who's a scratch golfer who's won major titles, to people like me, who's a 12 handicap and can play in the net championship. We have a lot of administrative kind of stuff. We administer the handicap system for the USGA in this area, and that includes the course ratings that you see when you go and post your score. Those numbers are made by the staff at GAP. They go out and rate a golf course, give it a number, talk about it. Why is it this hard or this easy, etc. Also, kind of national representation with all the national groups in golf, and really just programming from member play days. And in the last couple of years have been huge. We've expanded into the adaptive golf community, where now we have opportunities for adaptive players on both a championship and a local level, as well as youth on course, which is getting young kids into the game for $5 or less when they go play a round of golf. So basically, not free, but free, as I would say, to member play days. So there's a little bit for everybody, but we're here to, represent the average everyday golfers who we are.
It's funny too, Marty, because someone had a confusion one time about the member play day. They thought that meant if you were a member at a club, you could play at another club.
No,
which is interesting, right? I think that's the importance of talking about this stuff.
Yeah, and we just had a roundtable actually with the section. We represent the members of the clubs. The section represents the golf pros at each club, but we represent the members of those clubs. And if you join GAP, there's a couple ways to join GAP. First, if you join a club, basically by default, you're a member of GAP. 2 would be you can join the GAP USGA GAP GC, which is an online club. I think it's $55 now. You can administer your handicap and have all the benefits of GAP. The only thing you can't do from the GAP USGA GC is playing the team matches because that is a green grass only competition.
Got it.
And there's a lot more to that, all of that stuff. But, you know, in a nutshell, we are the amateur body of golf in the Philadelphia region.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Moose mentioned that he wanted to get into the GAP matches. So
Yeah, let's go.
you have 400 teams, 176 clubs involved
Yep.
this year. Are those numbers
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep.
And you just went through it and kind of, explained to our listeners, but talk a little bit more about how you even manage like that level of logistics and maybe even more so for our listeners, what I think would be pretty cool is the atmosphere, like what it's like at Huntington Valley when they're defending their 35th title. And before you get into that, I can show you, I just had Brandon bring in the hat.
Oh, there it is.
Look at how old that logo is.
Wow.
So do you know, trivia question here, Danielle, do you know what that logo is?
I don't know. Chris just gave me the hat and I thought it was great. And like I said, this is probably like 15 years old.
That is the logo inside of the Silver Cross Award.
Oh, no way.
It's the scripted gap. So if you look at it, you can see the G, the A,
and
the
B
C.
won the Silver Cross. So now when I explain this to him,
Correct.
it's going to be even cooler. Wow.
Yep.
I love it.
So the team matches are an animal unto itself. As you can probably imagine, a lot of passion, a lot of club pride. Just people always looking forward to it. So we could be here literally for like 3 shows and not really get through the whole process, but I'll put it to you this way. The Division AA is you earn your way into the AA bracket. That's the championship bracket. So if the Country Club of Scranton makes it and just say Rehoboth Beach in Delaware makes it, and you're in the same pod, you're driving the 7 hours to play your match because it's the top 16 teams in GAP. They're broken into 4 divisions of 4 teams, and each team plays everybody obviously once. So then at the end of the 3 weeks of matches, the best record in each bracket goes to a playoff and they play for the championship. So it's a little bit NCAA-ish, kind of thing, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in each. They play each other. The top 4 teams then go to a playoff. And in the playoff, there's 12 guys on each team. 3 guys go to each of the sites of the playoff. That is done with a match, believe it or not, against every single person from that club. So if it's Lanark, Scranton, Marion, and Cricket, the Marion guys playing each of the 3 guys from those clubs in a singles match, which leads to the fun thing of you hit it up to 3 feet, and that's good by me. Moose, you give it, that's good. And Daniel's like, you know what? I'd really like to see him. I'd like to see him make that, and then misses it. So now we already gave him the putt, so he won the hole from us. But now, that gets into the fun part. A, B, C, D, and E. So the rest of the divisions are basically if you win your way up. So if you win your flight or division in E, then you move up to the D bracket. If you win your division in D, you move up to the C, so on and so forth. And short is that it's done now in those lower divisions by driving distance, or as distance as the crow kind of flies, I should say, not by driving distance. So we try to keep everybody within a certain, range.
Okay.
That's how those are kind of done now. But you win your way up or down. Like if you lose all 3 matches, say if you're in B and you lose all 3 matches, like a legacy club struggles and does no good, then you drop the C. So then you lose all 3 matches in C, then you drop the D, and so on and so forth, with E being the farthest you can drop.
Wow.
And there's a lot of moving parts to the whole thing. Every club can have as many teams as they'd like. We don't put any governor on that. Clubs like Lulu and Cricket typically have 6 teams because they have so many people who are interested by it. But then those teams are then slotted in based on their handicap and ability.
So it is based on those teams are based on.
Yeah, basically, like Team 6 is not going to play in the highest bracket.
Right.
They could win their way up there. Certainly they could. And we have this year Lulu 2. So the second team at Lulu is also in the top bracket along with their first team.
Which is crazy. 2 top
teams.
teams.
Which is crazy. And you could have the probably not great scenario of the second team staying there and the first team dropping back.
Right. Right.
And that's
'cause it's all about who you're playing against.
That's also a possibility. But yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. And then, clubs want 5 teams. You do it. And then, we can't have it. We can't have 5 teams because we can't get enough guys. So we have to drop down to 4. So then you're trying to fill slots.
Wow.
But in essence, the team matches are great from the reason that it's the why GAP was founded. And the story goes, and I'm not sure it's true or not because I wasn't around in 1896, thank goodness. But that a match between Devon Golf Club, which is now the Devon Horse Show Grounds, and Philadelphia Cricket Club were so enjoyed by all that they determined they needed to have an association to administer these matches on a yearly basis. And that's how GAP was founded.
Very cool.
Yeah. And they're great. So, yeah, sorry, Mo. So go ahead.
No, I said, we want to be a bigger part of it this year. We talked about it last year. Like, we want to highlight the players, the teams, talk about the standings each week, who's moving up, who's moving down, because it is, man, in this area, people just absolutely love it. At every club you talk to, the guys are jockeying for position, who's playing, who's, lining up their matches, and being excited about experiencing different courses and just the travel, all that stuff, right? It gets those competitive juices flowing for a lot of the people in the area. So it's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of club camaraderie. I think personally, the coolest thing to me is that you get to go visit 3 clubs that you may not get to play really ever again. That's definitely a possibility.
Right.
And we've all heard stories too of clubs that are going on a couple-hour ride. They rent a bus or a limousine and they all ride together. So how much fun is that going to be?
Right. Right. Especially to ride home if you win.
I was going to say, hopefully they show up in decent shape.
Yeah, but club pride, camaraderie, spirit of golf, really, in essence, it's really what it's about, spirit of competition. If we get we figure 6,000 to 7,000 kind of unique golfers, maybe we'll call them that, or maybe 6, maybe closer to the 5 number. But, those 3 weeks, we have 10,000 rounds of golf being played each week on courtesy of GAP in a sense with the team matches.
Unbelievable.
And some people don't play in anything else but that. Like, we don't see, some people may never play in another GAP event other than the team matches. They may not even play in any other club event if they got stuff going on. So that's like a thing.
Wow.
Well, the 122nd Open Championship is going to Lancaster Country Club in July. Lancaster's, I feel like, getting so much love lately, a heavy hitter on the national stage with the U.S. Women's Open. How special is it for GAP to finally bring the Philly Open there for the first time in history?
Yeah, we're super excited about it. Lancaster's a relatively new club to GAP in a sense. And we've been there for one major before, and that was the GAP Amateur COVID year. So, so just like no good.
Nobody's working.
No car. Well, everybody's in a car. Can't rake your bunker shot. Can't touch the flag. Like, everybody remembers what that was like. So, kind of like the coming out party was supposed to be that for GAP, and unfortunately, that got kind of hijacked a little bit. But yeah, first time we're ever taking the Open there, which is kind of crazy to me. It's been there a couple times. That they've had the Pennsylvania Open 3 times there. And they have that annual AB Thorn. I don't know if Brandon's ever played in that at Lancaster. But yeah, we're excited. First time at the Open. And as you guys know, Ken Phillips is our president. He's a member of Lancaster. And it was very important for him to get a championship there. It's also was very important. One of the check on his checklist was getting a major to a public facility. And we managed to do that this year with the Mid-Am heading to Jeffersonville.
Looking forward to that. Yep.
Yes. So, it should be great. And if Lancaster's greens are Lancaster's greens, if they stay firm and fast, could be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to cut Moose off. We usually rotate with questions, but you mentioned the Mid-Am going to Jeffersonville. Like, that's the first time a public facility is hosting a GAP major, right? Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. What went into that decision, and what does that just say about the quality of public golf in the Philly region right now? We had we did kind of a draft of Philly golf courses, public courses a couple weeks ago. So just staying on that topic, would love to hear some more insight on that.
Yeah. So again, Ken really wanted to make it happen. So if we step back a little bit, before I got started in GAP, GAP's reputation was kind of like the private old guy association, right? Not to be mean about it, but that was kind of the reputation. And we've come a long way since then. We're basically 50-50 between private and public members.
Wow.
Which is a huge stepping stone. Since private golf has always been there, but public golf came into GAP in 1996. So not even that long ago. But we've made great strides in getting everybody included within the game. So kind of a natural progression would be, hey, we got to start using some of our public facilities for these events. We approached Jeffersonville. They were more than happy to even be considered. West Norriton, the township's been awesome. They're like, whatever you need, bring it here. In fact, we got a story on Rich Schilling coming up in the GAP magazine, the super, who's been there now for 25, 26 years as well, and was kind of the guy who saw it when Jeffersonville was not Jeffersonville to bringing it to what it is today, which is a pretty good golf course. Should pose a pretty good challenge for the top mid-ams in the area. And again, just a great opportunity for us to spotlight public golf.
A big week.
I was going to say, and kind of as the synergies go, that's a Donald Ross design. That week, the entire PGA Tour is at the Donald Ross design at Aronimink. So a lot of synergies with that. We're hopeful to maybe get a crew to come over to Jeffersonville to do a little spot.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
But we're happy, just to kind of expand a little bit. Especially, you think about it. What's next on the big Philadelphia list? We know PGA Tour is coming, right? But that probably means it's coming to where? Cobb's, right? Right. So that's that's been rumored forever. Public facility. So we just need to start integrating and expanding our touch and being good partners with everybody. Yeah, no doubt. Well, give us some other highlights, some other. We talked about a lot of the great stuff coming up, but what else are you excited about this season? I know in my neighborhood there's a wonderful event at Tavistock. I'll be looking forward to checking that one out. That's a big one. Yeah, we got the BMW Philadelphia Amateur going to Sunnybrook for only the second time ever. So we're super excited to kind of get back on property there. Can't even tell you the last GAP competition. I think it was a Comfort Cup or Mason-Dixon matches. That was at Sunnybrook. Obviously, they get yearly play with the Haverford Classic going on there for big money. For us who were playing for a big trophy, playing for the J. Wood Platt Amateur Trophy. So we're looking forward to heading over to Sunnybrook. 1912 Club is the other site for qualifying. For those of you out here who want to give it a shot, you can kind of go get a sneak peek. And then the Patterson Cup heads to Tavistock in early August. 4th time we've been there for that. And I was just doing a little work today. 3 pretty good champions have come out of Tavistock. We had Buddy Marucci in 93. Michael Tash, who at that point was a legend there at Tavistock in 2004, and Cole Berman in 14. So 3 really good decorated champions the last 3 times we've been to Tavistock. So looking forward to that. Probably be nice and hot in the beginning of August.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I would be remiss not to say, we're taking the women's championship, the BMW GAP Women's Championship. We're in year 5 of that. So we're feeling like we've got some good momentum. We're heading to Jericho National.
Very cool.
Up in, I guess that's Washington Crossing, kind of technically. Great golf course. We've been there a few times. Should be a good challenge. That's a good one where it's a small field. It's only 48 players, but everybody plays 36 holes in the first day, and then we cut to the low 20 and ties for the second day. And last year we did that at Wilmington South and North, and it was about 2,050 degrees outside. It was so hot. And Sarah Leidick, who plays at Wake Forest, won it. She was unbelievable. Yeah. So looking forward to a great year. It's we got a busy schedule. We're basically in all parts of the region almost, Lancaster, adaptive championship at Atlantic City, right? Adaptive play days too. Yeah.
Junior boys at Chester Valley.
Yeah. Yeah. The adaptive, we're excited. Atlantic City just signed on board about 2 weeks ago for that. So that's October 12th and 13th. That'll be fantastic. That place has got so much history and nostalgia. Good golf course. Should be awesome for the championship. And the junior boys are going to Chester Valley. and the senior is going to Bluebell. So a lot of good venues, a lot of good golf. Hopefully, if your game is in shape, maybe we'll see you out there playing.
I think you
Nobody does it
forgot to
better.
include where you were sleeping. Like, what time did that happen? Or
That was in the wintertime.
yeah,
Yeah.
hibernation.
It's it'll be it's always good. You know how it goes. You kind of get through. You take it by benchmarks. For us, we just got to survive each major, and then for communications, we have to survive each magazine. We're currently working on the first magazine. We're about a week and a half out from being done with that.
Awesome. Always love taking a look at that.
Yeah. So it's all good. We're set for a good summer now. We just need some weather to cooperate.
Yeah, it's been up and down lately, right? We've had some days of 75, and then it says that it might snow the next day, and then back to
should we get Marty in trouble with our closing question?
Can I?
Come on, there's no trouble. I can dance around anything.
I love it.
What do you got?
All right. You said, I'm allowed to ask it. So here we go. I never let a guest, get off the pod without asking this one question. Obviously, you've probably played the most Philadelphia region courses out of any guest we probably had on. So my question to you is, what is your favorite Philadelphia GAP golf course that you've ever played?
Well, you would be surprised. I probably have not played as many as you would think. I will say, like I said to my wife, we are on the golf course a lot. We're just not playing a lot of golf.
That's me.
Yeah, you know how it goes. We're always on the golf course working, taking pictures, writing stories, doing social. To me, there's a few, but the first one, obviously, not to be smug, is the first time I ever went to Pine Valley. Was kind of like one of those moments, right? You're like, oh my gosh, this is really better than everybody kind of talks about.
Heaven on earth.
Yeah, and it's just everybody builds it up, and you're like, well, it really can't be that good. But then you get there, and you're like, no, it actually is that good, and everything that goes with it, just the ambiance. When I drove in there the first time, I opened my trunk and went to grab the clubs out of my trunk, and the bag guy at the time was like, what are you doing? I'm like, just get my clubs out. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, don't touch your clubs. He said, take your bag, go inside. We'll take care of the rest. Leave your car keys. I'm like, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. And then obviously Marion, I will give you the two standard answers. Marion, I live like a mile and a half from Marion. So I drive by there every time, try to go that way coming home from work, even though it's way out of the way. And I've only played Marion, like 6 times. But just everything that's happened there, and you're like, Ben Hogan stood here, Bobby Jones stood here, Jim Nance is a member here, like that, all that kind of stuff. And you're like, shake your head kind of moments.
Give us an underrated club. What's one?
Well,
give us a sleeper for people.
My club, I'm a member at Lanark, which I think Lanark is so much fun to play on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill you, but you play there and you're like, man, I shot like 82. How'd that happen? I didn't play that badly, but it's just one of those cool, venerable golf courses. Rolling Green is awesome. Mosellum Springs is awesome. Lancaster is awesome. Just trying to think of White Marsh Valley is so much fun to play, and they're great to GAP, and they're such a rich history with Jaywood Platt, who is one of the top 3 players in GAP history. Philly Cricket is special. You guys have been there, ever since the redo. It's like unreal. But then you go to like Country Club of Scranton. Like, how good is that place?
It's so good.
It's incredible, and nobody knows it. I got to play Rehoboth Beach last year for a meeting. Like, it was spectacular. Like,
really,
nobody up here talks about Rehoboth Beach. Fieldstone, Bitterman, Wilmington, all those places. I think we're very fortunate, and I know you guys talk about this a lot, but you could probably name 45 courses, 1 to 45 here, and you're like 45, 46, you're like, oh, whatever. You go to pick someplace else in the world, and they're like 3, 4, 5.
Falls off a cliff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We say it all the time. Embarrassment of riches. It's just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't talked Saucon Valley or Lehigh, places that are spectacular.
All 3 courses at Saucon. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to cop out in the answer, but the first two times I got to play Pine Valley, or the first time I ever got to play Pine Valley and then Marion, were special. I love the history. We write a lot about history in our magazine, so that's just one of those places where you're like, you get such crazy vibes standing on the property. That you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. And you're like, yeah, probably don't want to leave here, but I know we kind of have to.
Oh yeah. I remember my first time ever, Marion. Brandon was an alternate in the US Open. And it was, I don't know if you remember, I can't remember what year this was, like 2014 maybe, or something like that. And we're standing, he had to decide, like, do I go up to Sunny Hannah or do I wait? Because I'm like a first alternate. And we're there for a practice round, and it was pouring rain. I remember, like, the club was just like laying down plywood everywhere to try to like save your shoes. And I remember standing there and seeing something out, like a big roar. And I'm like, what is going on over there? And then I see a single man walking with an entourage of 7,000 people behind him. And here comes Tiger Woods. And I saw him from a mile away walking down through the range. He sits his bag right next to Brandon. And I was like, what is happening? So that was my first time there ever. And I was like, this is insane. So, like, not even having any other history involved with that was just a crazy experience in itself, is like being on site and then Tiger walking up next to you in the range and sitting the ball down. That was his bag down part of me. It was crazy.
He stayed, Brandon stayed there the whole week, right? He didn't.
No, we left.
Did he go to Sunny
Hannah? Okay. Yeah. He always played well at Sunny Hannah, and we love Sunny Hannah. Like, it's just Johnstown, small little quaint place. The course is cool. Like, yeah. So we left and drove up there.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine he didn't get in as the first alternate.
I know. And I think he was 19 or something years old. Like, yeah. Crazy.
Awesome. Well, Marty, we appreciate you coming on. We know you have an exciting year coming up. We're looking forward to, like we said, being a bigger part of it, highlighting some of the great stuff going on. Looking forward to that Jeffersonville event. That whole week is going to be a blast. So thank you so much. Thanks for sharing some of the history and all the great stuff you guys have going on this year.
Yeah. And, certainly you know where to find me if you need me. And if anybody needs more information out there, easy enough, just go to gapgolf.org. So it's gapgolf.org. And if you have a question or need some help, there's contact information on the website. Certainly reach out to anybody on staff.
Perfect. Thanks, Marty. All right, let's take a quick break and we will be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. No Harry Mays, by the way. I don't know why I didn't say that at the beginning of the show. Like, people are going to be like, "Where's Harry Mays?"
People already know. They've already stopped listening when they heard there was no Harry Mays.
Yeah, he's listen, we have to deal with the commuting situation now. Apparently he's got summoned back to the Philadelphia area, kicking and screaming. So he is on the road, but we miss him dearly.
We do.
Dearly. We haven't been able to recap our Florida trip. It's going to be too late to even recap it at this point.
You're like, what's happening?
Yeah, but let's recap the Arnold Palmer Invitational with another wild late Sunday finish. I mean, it's another one of those things where I was about to text, like, man, Daniel Berger's unflappable. He's just hitting that low shot, like 3-shot lead. Akshay's just hanging around. And then next thing you know, boom, gets it to a playoff. Gets his third win, $4 million, signature event, the biggest win of his career. Berger was just heartbroken. I mean, he played so well the whole tournament long, and it's just those last 3 or 4 holes on the Sunday. It's insane what that does.
It's Shane Lowry all over again, back to back. It's crazy. But coming in, the same thing. I'm like, wait, Berger, because we had just talked about him the week before on the pod, and we're like, okay. And coming off of injury, you're rooting for him, but then you're also like, wait, Akshay, like, how do you root against playoff golf? You can't.
Right,
so we're watching it come down the stretch, and I'm just like you said, the last couple of holes for Berger, and you're like, uh-oh, like, is it not in the bag? What's going on here? I love it when our group text starts picking up, because then we know that there's something going on. But that was a great Sunday to watch that come down to it. But Akshay just looked, you said you thought Berger looked so good. Like, Akshay in that final stretch, he just looked so calm and confident. Like, just, I've done this before, watch me do it again.
Yeah. You feel for Berger. I mean, he just, picking up the tee so fast. He was hitting such good shots. He just looked completely in control the whole time. And, just that last couple holes just creeps up on you. I think about it. It's like, I would rather be going into a day down 2 shots
fighting for.
over up 2 shots. It's a whole
Think
different.
about going to bed Saturday night.
Yeah,
You know,
holding
you're
that
like,
lead.
okay, let me chase him. Like that's Akshay. He's like, okay, like because Akshay had he was in second, Thursday and Friday, but like, going to bed being like, all right, I'm a cheeseburger instead of being like, don't mess up, can't miss.
Right. Yeah, you're thinking
water on
about
the left, like
the negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a mental game.
Yeah, great tournament. Scotty comes out of the top 10 back-to-back weeks. It's like, what the heck's going on with Scotty? Obviously, Rory pulls out with the back injury. Curious to see what's going on with that. He's going to try to play in the Players. He hasn't even swung driver yet from what they're saying. So interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But
and for people who play one and done and don't get their picks in time and might have gotten Scotty Scheffler this week, and then he finishes how he does, those people are probably upset.
Wow. Burn Scotty on an auto draft for the API. You hate to see it.
Oh, I feel bad for those people.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Hate to see it. But great finish, great drama, great Sunday watching. Everything you're looking for in closing out a tournament for sure.
Last 2 weeks I've thoroughly enjoyed. I know a lot of people get underwhelmed by the Honda heading into this, big stretch of great golf, but or the cognizant part of me, but I thought it was great. And then again this week, I'm like, okay, give it to me one more week in a row with the Players.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's before we get into the Players, let's spill a little tea.
Oh, let's do it. So Moose, you already mentioned kind of already. Rory had a back injury. Obviously, he withdrew last week at Bay Hill, pardon me. But he's a game time decision. Right before we went on the pod, before we went live here, he was quoted in the presser saying, "All indications are pointing in the right direction. So hopefully a good night tonight. The drugs are working wonders, and then just keep it going from there." So it sounds like we're going to see him tee it up tomorrow.
Got to.
Yeah,
he's still way out looking at the BetParx scoreboard. He is still, right under Scotty. I mean, there's a huge gap in between them, but Scotty's at plus 450. Rory actually dropped. He was second. He's dropped to third at 1600.
Still with the back injury, not knowing if he's going to play tomorrow and still pulling numbers.
Just such
like
a popular player where people just put the money on him, so you have to hedge him.
Yeah. And Moose, can you repeat what you said about Scotty? You said what? Scotty's off to a rough start or he's struggling. What did you say about
back-to-back weeks out of the top 10, which is rare for him.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been saying he's off to a slow start this season. And, I could pull certain quotes from his press conference response, but it was so long. I was like, all right, let's just sum this up. Scotty's results in 2026: win, T3, T4, T12, and then T24. So in hindsight, I think any other player on tour would be like, sign me up for that.
God, yeah.
I don't know how many millions of dollars that is in FedEx Cup points, but it's not bad.
No.
Not bad at all. No. So yeah, not too bad.
Not what we're used to.
Yeah, we expect him to be winning or a top 5. So, and it's funny too, because he's so nonchalant and was like, I don't know, what was I last week? Like T24, 5 or something like that. Like not even knowing where he finished in the AP. Like it was funny. But what I did like seeing out of Scotty was a throw and a couple choice, a throw of the golf ball into the water and a couple of choice words. I was like, yes, let me see that emotion. You're a real human. Like golf is hard. Like I enjoyed seeing that from Scotty. Yeah. Some people might think like you're a role model, don't do that. But I was like, give me more of that.
Oh yeah. I love seeing Scotty fired up.
Oh yeah. We love seeing anybody fired up, really. A couple weeks, maybe a month and a half from now, not even, we got the Masters. But Moose, surprising, a few names that are not in the Masters. Do you know any of them, or have you been paying attention to that?
Yeah, I went through a little carousel a couple of days ago of guys that are in it.
And just sharing a few, Joaquin Niemann, Ricky Fowler, Willie Z, Billy Ho, Tony Finau, Sahith Theegala. I mean, these are, especially like Tony, I was like, okay. And then Ricky, I was like, maybe.
He has been playing well though. Yeah.
Right. And you're like, okay. But what is cool is that we'll see Nico in the Masters, and there's some other cool names that'll be fun to highlight and watch. But I thought that was pretty surprising checking that out. And then also I saw this on social that quote unquote free agents. I've seen this circulating around a few times. People are even speculating about JT and his new apparel, but quote unquote free agents in terms of apparel, both Tommy Fleetwood and JT do not have any current apparel sponsors. So they're in complete control of their outfits, which I don't think have been overly or underly, impressive. But some people have even said like JT's wearing like Lululemon, like they're just, I'm like, is he just throwing something on like in his closet? Or, I'm sure if I'm an apparel company, I'm sending stuff to their house. Like,
well, I have a
day.
feeling who the apparel company is going to be, but it just hasn't happened yet, which is weird.
You think
I think it's going to be Sunday Red.
Well, JT, yeah. I mean, because what else would you do? But yeah, like you said, why hasn't it happened yet? Like, it's,
I know.
Hey, Tiger, send it over. Like,
unless there's some sort of like cooling off period when you're, a non-compete type of situation in between. You have to, I don't know.
Or if people are still upset about what he said.
Yeah, I think that's like
way over.
Yeah, I think that's way over.
But then Tommy Fleetwood, there's no speculation, at least on my end, of what outfits he would be wearing.
No.
But yeah. And then also I know that you're really super excited about it. You were texting me and said you can't wait to watch it, but Netflix announced a new golf show coming this summer, The Hawk, featuring Will Ferrell. It's a comedy show. And obviously
it's so crazy because I love Will
kidding.
Ferrell, but when I saw that, I'm just like,
put this on my to miss list. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's amazing, but I just am like, I don't know.
But like golf comedy show, like what is this? Like we have Happy Gilmore. Like what else are we watching that's like funny? You know what I mean?
It seems like golf is so popular that like everyone seems to, like that Owen Wilson, that stick that I don't think really stuck.
I liked watching that though. Like I watched, just because it was decent. But like that at least was like, just gave like a storyline. It was like a comedy. I just don't know how it's going to present.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to have to watch a little bit of it just to see.
Yeah, I'm
but
going to have to check it out.
It's not, we didn't need it.
No.
We didn't need it. No. Anything that I missed? Anything trending that?
Definitely want to talk about Brian Rollap and the press conference today, because, there were like six key takeaways from that. One, the schedule, looking at a late January to September, trying to avoid some of the NFL 21 to 26 big events. The fields going back to the 120 with the cut, a big season opener on the West Coast in late January. They're looking at promotion and relegation, which is interesting, right? You see that some of the stuff with Live, it's like, it makes sense for other things. And then obviously the thing that everyone in this area is talking about, because he mentioned Philadelphia, he talked about big markets, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, DC, Boston, San Francisco. So we'll see what that means. Is it going to be a regular tour stop? Is it going to be a Northeast kind of thing? We'll see how that goes. And then the enhanced postseason, and even talking about going into some match play in the postseason. So I think
there needs to be more.
Yeah.
Like, there's, other than the Zurich, which isn't, what I mean, it's a team event, but like a true match play event, like would love to see that somewhere.
But, people love usually ripping anytime anyone talks about anything that they're going to do. But this seemed widely like very well reviewed, and people really excited about the things he was talking about, and have a level of trust that this guy can get it done and continue to put the game of golf in a great position. So
I think he's doing a great job. I think he's listening. I think he's, he's smart. He's running it like a business, in terms of being like, let's hit those bigger markets, or let's change things around. Let's not compete with one of the biggest, competitions on the national stage, being the Super Bowl. It's like all those things. It's like, okay, why would we try to go up against that? Let's change it. Plus from, considering the players side, before they really only ever had like 2 months off max. Like, of course, when you make it to the top, you're able to pick and choose the events you're going to play in. But generally, a lot of these players trying to stay, on top, get as many FedEx Cup points, as possible, and stay up, in ranking so they can maintain their card. They play in every event possible. So having a little bit more of a late start and, that September finish, hopefully will give them a little bit more time too. So I think he's checking a lot of boxes and doing a lot of things right. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it comes out. But he obviously was live today. The Players Championship, the fifth major, right? That's what everyone's talking about. Should it be a major? Should it not be major? It's the Players. right? It is what it is. It's an incredible event. I don't think you need to classify it as a major. It's
No,
the players, right? It's
exactly.
amazing.
That's it. Just let it
TPC,
be.
Sawgrass, great watching. Obviously, 17 is one of the most fun holes in golf to watch.
Not to
Every
play.
day of the week, Thursday through Sunday. You got Scotty, like we said, back to back outside of the top 10. But this one, I mean, this is it, right? This is where the cream rises to the top. You see some of the guys that like have kind of get their tune up weeks in for this event, right? This is what it's all about. And when we see the line with our friends from BetParx, who talked about it, Scotty at plus 450, Morikawa has moved into that number 2 spot at 1400, with Rory having some back problems at 1600. Then Oberg and Siwoo Kim, previous winner 2000, my one and done pick, by the way. I went with Siwoo for this, but yeah, excited to see the best compete this weekend.
For sure. We have Brad on site, obviously doing coverage, and I was with him at the Cognizant, like he always will go through the course and look at it. So he has talking points. He'll find players and talk to them just so he can be like, hey, I was talking to Brooks earlier today. He said ABC. So I'm like pressing him because I'm not with him this week for content. He sent me a video I posted right before we went live of number 2. It's a par 5, 555 yards, dog leg left, and was kind of going through it and said that the rough currently is topped at 4.5 inches. And this is on Wednesday. And he said there is no plans to cut it through the entire duration of the week. So it's going to be thick. It's going to probably present a nice little challenge. So excited to see conditions. Looks like decent weather. And like you said, watching the why am I number 17 with that shot there? Have you played there before? No, I have, and I missed it. I missed the green. Yeah, I dunked it in. Well, on my first shot. No, I took like 3. I got it on the second or third, but I definitely missed the first. And the first just missed right. But yeah, that was a few years ago, and that was when I would get frustrated because Brandon would just stripe it 2 feet from the pin, and I'm in the water, and I'm like, and now I'm like, okay, we play a different game. Just try again and figure it out.
But it's interesting, right? When I'm looking at the board, you got somebody like Gotterup, who's like super high value, 4,500. He has like Jake Knapp and Victor Hovland are higher than him on the BetParx board here. So that's interesting. I also am gonna play Hideki. He plays well here. He's the kind of gamer that always seems to step up in big events. And I could see him doing it in this event. Curious to see Daniel Berger, who played so well last week, staying in Florida. Will he, kind of be able to put that past him? And I do like him in the top 10 this week, because I think he'll play well. But yeah, this is an interesting one. You got Justin Thomas playing in it, right? Is he going to try to find a little bit of form? Did not have it last week. You got Nico in the field with a nice, solid number if you want to stay with our boy Nico. Denny McCarthy in the field. So yeah, this is the big one. This is the biggest one of the year. So but I think all eyes will be on Rory on Thursday to see if he's going to actually be able to play 4 days of golf at this level of competition with all he has going on with the back. So we know how tough that's to do.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about the tee earlier, and the tee is presented by Wear SPF. So I heard up there the weather's improving a little bit. The winter coats are finally hopefully hitting the back of the closet. The sun's actually starting to show up for you guys. So the Saturday morning tee times, don't let the breezes fool you. March is when golfers' burn really starts to sneak up, whether you're back out playing golf, heading to the shore, or just catching those first few spring rays on a walk. You need professional grade protection, where SPF is dermatologist tested, sweat resistant, and built by a guy who knows exactly how intense that sun can be when you're out there for hours. Spring is almost here, so don't let your skin pay the price. Grab your essentials at wearspf.com. That's wearspf.com.
I have my stick in my bag. I leave for Scottsdale tomorrow morning, and I will be applying as I go.
Just America's guest.
I'll be posting some videos. This is work, Danielle. This is work. Okay. All right. I have to. My job is a little different, but
hustle hard.
Get to do your best. All right. Thank you to Marty Emeno for hopping on with us. Great stuff this year in the GAP as always, and we're looking forward to highlighting that throughout the year. And Harry Mays will be back next week. Have no fear. See you then.